Hello, this is Patrick Damore at Patrick Damore Golf Instruction. I'm here with Brandt Snedeker, who is probably the best player on tour as I speak. He's had a lot of top finishes, and the last couple of years he's becoming a very, very, very good golfer, and I expect him to move into the top 5 in the world here in the next year or so. But today we're going to put him on the operating table, so to speak, and see why he is so good. Now, everybody knows about his short game and how good that is, and again, short game solves a lot of problems. But we're gonna get into his golf swing and see why he is so successful in that respect. Brandt is not a long hitter by today's standards. He's probably medium length to a little above average in terms of distance, but he is a very good ball striker. You know, I put him in the Luke Donald mode. Tee to green, he's solid. And folks, what we're going to look at today is what in his golf swing makes him so good tee to green, so good at impact, and so consistent day in and day out. And I expect this consistency to last a long time. He's got a pretty good golf swing. Fundamentally, it's really good. And again, we all know how good his short game is. But for the most part, let's look at his golf swing. And again, what I like to teach a lot with the on-plane swing is arcs, shoulders, and shift. And I'm going to show you what Brandt does so well. Let's get his setup position here, folks. He's got a very typical setup position with the stance is probably a little bit more in shoulder width apart, and that's typical of the driver. His spine angle at address, as you can see, a lot of tour pros do this, and he's no exception. He keeps that spine tilted away from the ball. This allows him to hit at the bottom of the swing arc, or even slightly on the upswing at impact with that driver swing anyways. And that's, again, typical with these tour pros. Most of these tour pros hit the ball anywhere from -2 degrees on the downswing to maybe 1 or 2 degrees on the upswing, somewhere in that parameter. But what I like to see in his swing, and he does, he's a very consistent ball striker, and he does this because his forward swing arc remains wide. And what I mean by that is, very simply, the top of the swing, his hand position up here, let's say these are his hands right here, his hips, his legs, and his shoulders do not become out of sync on that forward swing. They stay in sync together, so to speak. And when that happens, a lot of positive things happen in that forward swing. What I'm going to show you is when these hands and shoulders stay in sync with the hips, that forward swing arc doesn't become narrow. It remains wide into impact. And that is why he is so good tee to green. He's a very consistent golfer because he has a wide forward swing arc, folks. And when I put him in impact, I'm going to show you another thing that again is my tall tale sign, so to speak. Let's look at his shoulder inclination at impact. Now again, folks, this is a driver swing, so he's going to be trying to catch the ball, trying to catch it on the upswing, although I think he catches it more at the bottom of his swing arc. But let's look at his shoulder inclination right there. In fact, let's get rid of the other stuff, put it back up there. That's kind of his shoulders at impact. Now let's look at his setup position, folks. This is a very common trait among consistent and good ball strikers. His shoulder position at address, assuming it's correct, which his is, and his shoulder position at impact don't change. Or if they do, it's microscopic and you really can't tell with the naked eye. The inclinations do not change. This tells me straight up front that his backswing arc and his forward swing arc are very much similar. Again, that idyllic diagram of the backswing arc, and as I like to see the forward swing arc, ideally. Again, folks, these are obviously exaggerations. No one swings that wide, but what I'm trying to prove the point here is the backswing arc and the forward swing arc are very similar in shape. As you can see, they're both wide, similar in angle, which you can't see from this view, and similar in direction, again, which you can't see from this view. This has a lot of positive things going on. When you can have a wide forward swing arc like Brandt does, you're going to see on this view at the right that his swing plane remains very consistent throughout the backswing. All right, now we're going to put the little circle above the hands here. What I mean by arcs: forward swing arc, backswing arc. He's got a very wide backswing arc, and he has a equally wide forward swing arc. When these hands and shoulders and hips, when they're in sync, and I'm going to show you what sync means here in a minute or two, but when they're in sync, what happens is the arms and hands come down on plane, if you will. They come down that way instead of dropping down here and then coming at the golf ball at an extreme angle. When they're on the same plane, so to speak, your impact, the club head direction at impact, is traveling down the target line instead of traveling at a severe inside angle to the golf ball. And Brandt, like I said before, he is very much on plane, and his backswing and forward swing arcs are very, very similar. He keeps a very wide forward swing arc. As you can see, I'm going to forward this downswing here. Very much in sync. As you can see here, if I were to put a line up on his shoulder position, let's go back to impact here though with him. Looks like his shoulders are probably in this area. Hips are probably in this area. I'm guessing. I mean, that's just guess from this angle. But as you can see, there's not a lot of difference in those two positions. There is a difference, obviously, but there's not a great deal of distance to whereas he's getting stuck and he's hitting the ball too far from the inside. He's pretty much right back and forth, backswing and forward swing arcs. And this is one big reason why he's very consistent. Very consistent with the irons, very consistent with the driver. Backswing and forward swing are very similar in planes, as you can see there. In fact, we're going to take them right to the top here. What I mean by this is, let's get a little. Again, this view on the right, folks, unfortunately, is not from a fixed position, but the camera's not moving a whole hell of a lot, so I think we can still use it. Let's watch his forward swing now. As you can see, those hands do not drop severely. Let's go to the top again. His hands do not drop this way. They almost, if not, again, to the naked eye, come down a very similar path as that backswing. And that's what we're talking about, arcs. The backswing arc and the forward swing arc. If we can keep those things similar, you're going to be a very consistent ball striker. Now, how do we do that? Well, first of all, let's look at him at the takeaway. He has already started to set his hands in this takeaway. You can see he's already starting to create the angle there. So much for one-piece takeaway. This is important for one reason and one reason alone. If you can set the hands early in the backswing such that they're completely set by the top of the swing, then your body has no reason to increase that angle of wrist set to start that forward swing. Alright, now again, let's try that again. Backswing, he sets the hands early. This allows him to complete that wrist set before he starts that downswing. Before he starts that forward swing, that wrist set is already completed and will not increase into the forward swing. I'm going to show you exactly what that's all about. We'll say his angle right there is about 70 degrees. Yeah, as you can see, he has not increased that angle. A lot of people who hit the ball a great distance increase that angle to start that forward swing. You get a lot of lag, a lot of late release, and consequently, again, that all encourages and breeds narrow. And we're trying to eliminate the narrowness. We're trying to keep the golf swing wide on that forward swing. We're trying to keep these hands to traveling wide. Again, I'm going to put up a rough sketch instead of this way. And coincidentally, Brandt Snedeker does this as well as anybody. He keeps that forward swing arc very wide. And I don't have to tell you about his impact position. His shoulder position here remains almost identical. I would say identical to his setup position. Very close to identical. Again, all I did was just move the arrow, folks. I didn't change the angle at all. That tells me his forward swing arc and his back swing arc are very similar in direction, as we showed from the other view. And he does this by setting the hands early. When you set the hands early, you have the ability to have a complete wrist set by the top of the swing, such that you're not increasing that angle to start the forward swing. And that's all good stuff right there that he's doing. Very good. Now, talked about the arcs. Let's look at the shift. Let's look how much weight shift he's got. Now, like a lot of pros, he has a preset spine angle at the start of the swing, which is typical. His head is off the ball a touch, which is also typical for a lot of pros. And if I'm going to put a straight line on his ball position here, we're going to do that right now. Here's his moment of truth here, folks. Here's his impact angle. And we are trying very hard to shift the weight on the backswing this direction, and on the forward swing back this direction. Now let's take him to the top. That's a weight shift, folks. You can see his head has moved off the ball ever so slightly, which basically means his center of gravity has moved this way, as you can see. Now I'm not talking Curtis Strange back in the late 80s. I'm just talking a very slight weight shift. And that's where this wide stance comes into play. When your stance is wider, like his is, wider than shoulder width apart, your body has the ability to maintain balance during this weight transfer. So his weight shifts off the ball towards the backswing. Now, let's get him back into the ball. All right, let's move this forward to here. Now he's right back here at impact. All right, as you can see where he was at address. Top of the swing. Top of the swing impact. Now I'm going to show you something that I like to see a lot, folks, is this angle right here into the ball. He's what I call a very level swinger. Very little reverse C in his golf swing. You look at these old throwback swings and you see a huge, and I mean huge, reverse C, but he's not like that. He's very much level, very much as I call on top of the golf ball at impact. He covers the golf ball. There's that infamous phrase we all hear nowadays, cover. And his instructor, Todd Anderson, he promotes this greatly. I've watched him teach for about 5, 6, 7 minutes about 15 years ago to a senior professional at the time, and he was drilling into this gentleman's head, cover. And basically at impact, you're going to find that Brandt Snedeker, and I'm assuming a lot of Todd Anderson students, are pretty much level. Alright, now let's move him into post-impact here. Again, I like to see this. He's very level. Right shoulder, right hip, right toe. Now in Brandt's case, I think he could still become a better ball striker if he has the ability to shift his weight, his upper body in particular, more this way on that forward swing. Alright, as you can see by his back foot, he's still hanging back a little bit on this back foot. Alright, the position I would like to see him in if I was teaching him, and I'm sure Todd Anderson is trying to get him into this position, is he's trying to get Brandt, I would venture to say, more this way post-impact, such that when he's finishing that golf swing, he's completely vertical this way, completely vertical that way. Looks like he hangs back on his right side ever so slightly past impact. Let's get him to impact here. Post-impact. Again, folks, I'd like to see this head position on that forward swing during the on-plane swing move a little bit more this way, such that when he's done with that golf swing, he's completely on top of that front foot. So he hangs back ever so slightly. But again, it really doesn't matter what happens after impact, folks. When you're in this position at impact, which is a very good position, I'm going to tell you right now, that's a very good position. His shoulders are very level. terms of where they started from. You have a lot of good things going for you. And Brandt, as you already know, he's playing some pretty good golf nowadays, folks. But there is a weight shift. That's what I'm here to tell you. Arcs. We already discussed the arcs. Backswing and forward swing arcs are wide. Alright, again, what I mean by wide is if I had the ideal diagram, that's what I mean by wide. His backswing arc is wide. He creates width in that backswing. Just as important, if not more importantly, he keeps that width on the forward swing to a very good impact position. Again, some of these other swing systems that I see, you know, the one stack and tilters, the one planers, they're more narrow in that forward swing. Obviously not that narrow, but they are more narrow. And what I mean by narrow is that forward swing arc from the top of the swing travels a more direct line to the golf ball instead of staying wide. When we have the ability to keep a wide forward swing arc, a lot of good things happen, folks. This gentleman's proof in the pudding, so to speak. And again, I'm going to show you another person that is also proof in the pudding. When we have positions like you see on the left with Brandt Snedeker, we also have the same positions as you see on the right with Luke Donald, two very good ball strikers. They keep that forward swing arc very wide. And again, I'm going to beat this point into the ground. Now Luke's hitting an iron here, probably mid to short iron, but I'm going to show you his shoulder position at impact and his shoulder position at setup are very, very similar, folks. And again, when you have that kind of consistency from impact to setup with those shoulders, your arc, backswing and forward swing remain wide, they remain same direction, and they remain very, very similar. And a lot of good things come out of that. Typically, good ball striking. And when you put good ball striking into play with a golf swing like this, you're going to have what you see. You're going to see a very successful golfer. But again, arcs, wide backswing, wide forward swing, which Brandt does very well. Shift. He does shift off the ball on that backswing. I've already proven that. I've showed you what I'm talking about. Get him up here to the top again. He is loading up behind the ball, folks. Here's his moment of truth, his impact golf ball. You can see he's loaded up to the right side. That's typical of today's modern golf swing, folks. When you can shift that weight off the ball like that, this arc creates width. If you don't shift that weight off the ball, the arc creates narrowness. So there is a good weight shift Brandt Snedeker showing us. We showed you about the shoulder position at impact. Very consistent to the shoulder position at address. And when I see these kind of attributes from this face-on view, I'm going to look at a guy that hits the ball pretty good tee to green. And again, Brandt Snedeker is no exception. Folks, if you'd like to have your swing put on the operating table, so to speak, by me, Patrick Damore, PGA Professional, by all means, send me an email. In the meantime, keep enjoying the videos I have on my YouTube channel and my website. Thank you.